Hello, magical friends, especially Bradley, the newest member of the WZRD Radio Patreon, who's joined just in time to help me do this episode. Speaking of my magical Patreon friends, I had so much fun talking to this month's guest that I couldn't bear to cut it all. So patrons are getting a special extended version of our conversation. But don't worry if you're not a patron. This version is still excellent. Let's dive into it with our first music break. Here's Arabella's Squad.
Arabella Fig has 4 sweet cats. Tibble's Tufty, Snowy, Mr. Paws, when they aren't running under her feet. They are known as Arabella's Squad. Meow, 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 meow,
I'll never get how you betray your friends like that? Scabbers, my scabbers. You are my cuddly little rat. Scabbers, my scabbers. How could you betray your friends like that?
Just one wizard and Hogwarts falls without Dumbledore's army. So many witches and wizards risking it all, keep the resistance alive, and it won't stop. When Voldemort dies, we'll build a better world on the other side. We'll only get through this together. So there's four more out there without Dumbledore, Hermione, Ron Weasley, and Neville Longbottom, the other boy who lived. Yeah, it don't work without him. Remus and Tonks, the Creedies and Weasleys, Lavender Brown, and Mad Eye Moody put their lives on the line when it came time, trying to make a world where we can be happy. Well, there ain't no trio, just one wizard and Hogwarts falls without Dumbledore's army. So many witches and wizards risking it all, keep the resistance alive, and it won't stop. Voldemort dies, we'll build a better world on the other side. I can't do it myself, I'm gonna need help. All for one and one for all. We'll only get through this together.
That was Arabella's Squad by Totally Canuts, Candlewicks, Aguamenti, and Ludo Bagman and the Trash, Scabbers by Ronald Weasley and the Ukulele of Doom, and No Hero's Journey by Harry and the Potters. Without further ado, here's Kosmo of Kwikspell. Welcome to the show, Kosmo. I'm so happy you could be here today.
Yeah, it's really nice to be here. Thank you for inviting me. Yeah.
For newer listeners who might not be familiar with you, can you tell us a little bit about your history with Wizard Rock?
Yeah, I started my Wizard Rock band, I want to say in 2007, 2008. So it was kind of like in the height of all of these bands popping up all over the country, all over the world. It was a really exciting time for the fandom. The last book had just released. There was still movies coming out, all of this like really very exciting time for just like the Harry Potter fandom. And I was looking in the like little local newspaper, or like the little the little free newspaper that you like have that just kind of exists in towns. And so I was looking in there just to see like what to get into, and I saw this band. It was like called Harry and the Potters. Well, in Austin at the time, there was in Houston at the time, there was a band It was called Molly and the Ringwalds, but they didn't do anything about like 80s teen movies. They were just a band called Molly and the Ringwalds. So I thought that Harry and the Potters was like of the same ilk, you know? And so I went there, and it was a show with Math the Band and Harry and the Potters and Uncle Monster Face. And it was the most intense and exciting thing that I had experienced as like an avid show attendee type of person. And like I went home that night and I was like, I can do this. And I was like, wait, I can't. I don't know how to play the guitar. I've never written a song. I don't know what I'm doing, but I know I want to do this. And so that sprung up Kwikspell, and I just fumbled my way through learning how to write songs and how to play guitar and how to perform and record and all these things, just because I really, really liked the series and I really wanted to participate in fandom, but I wasn't doing like fan fiction, which was like really big at the time. And so I was like, I want to be a part of this like really cool, awesome community of this very intense special interest that I have. And boom, Kwikspell.
Where did the name Kwikspell come from?
Okay, so like I mentioned, like everyone was making their bands at the time. We had like the Whomping Willows, the Moaning Myrtles, we had Gred and Forge, we had Draco and the Malfoys. It was everything seemed taken. And so what I did, like any person who's completely out of ideas, I went to the like HP wiki and I hit random. And I was like, whatever page it lands on, that is my band. I've got to make something about that. I can't keep stressing about this. I need to get my MySpace page up now. And so I was like, I need to reserve the MySpace page. And so I hit random and it pulled up Kwikspell. And I was like, oh my gosh, that like 1 or 2 page something with Filch. And so I was like, this doesn't even track, you know, like it's such a weird little obscure thing that never came to be. I really, really wanted Filch to have some sort of correspondence course that backfired, and then like the trio caught him or so, like something, but it was just like this innocuous thing. Anyway, I was like, you know what, this works. I have no idea what I'm doing. Obviously Kwikspell has no idea what it's doing as an establishment. This works for me. So I started my correspondence course in how to make music in parallel with the correspondence course of like how to do magic for these squibs. And so yeah, it was literally random.
I love that. Now, when I was prepping for this interview, I asked Grace Kendall of Snidget
Mm-hmm.
what I should ask about, any interesting memories, and they suggested the Tour de Firenze.
Oh wow, that was a thing that happened. So this was possibly the best experience that I had as a musician, like performing. I was just feeling really, really good and really, really excited. However, every single aspect of that tour was like we were building the plane as we were in the air. It was so chaotic. So, like, just a litany of things went off. Like, we had a performer coming in from Canada, and she was flying into Texas, and we were all going to tour there. So it was going to be me and my friend Castor. They were in their solo band. It was going to be Sweetwater All Stars with Kelly, and she was going to be in like her band. And it was like a 4 or 5 band like tour, but we were all like one man show type of situation. And so our plan was like, we're going to rent this van. We're going to like tour across the country. We've got all these shows lined up. It's going to be so great. We're so excited. All of our like friends are hyping us up. All of our fans are like hyping us up. We are living the dream as like these relatively unknown, kind of like flying under the radar, you know, like just trying to be a part of the experience, you know. And day 1, Jackie flies in from Canada, pick her up from the airport, and the next thing was like, we're going to make sure everyone has our bags, we've got IDs, we've got everything, we're going to load everything into my partner's car at the time and go to pick up the rental van drive into Dallas where we're going to meet the rest of the folks. And then we were all going to like pile into the van and travel together. I get to Avis and they're like, hey, we need a credit card. And we're like, hi, we're like children. We, we don't have that. They were like, well, you told us on the phone that we could rent it with a debit card. And they're like, no, you need a credit card. And so we're like, we're boned. Crap. I don't know what to do. So what I did was I took all the money that we were supposed to be using to like get us around, and like feed us and like get hotels and things along those lines. And I had to buy a van on Craigslist. I bought a van randomly from some strange dude. It was like this 1993 like Astro van. It had an oil leak, but just so happened that my friend from Canada was like, "Oh, my job is to like monitor oil and things along those lines so I can keep an eye." I was like, "Wow, the serendipity." And so I was like, "This is great." So we pile in this van and it's rickety as all hell and we're driving across the country, and there was a time where we were traveling through the mountains like near Pittsburgh and we got completely lost and ended up in an abandoned doll factory at like 4 in the morning. It was terrifying. Terrifying. We just kept having hiccup after hiccup after hiccup that by the time that we got to New York, we like pulled into New York and we were going to like crash with, I think that was when we like synced up with Grace. And so they were like, yeah, you can like hang out with us and we're just gonna like play the show together. It'll be fun. You just like crash at our place. And tensions were like getting really high. Everybody broke, like our tour split. And so it was just like half the bands went in like one direction and half of the bands went in the other direction, but we still all had to like hit these stops together. So it was just like weird tension where we're like show up at the place and we're just like, you just left in the middle of the night. It was wild. You know, it's water under the bridge now, but it was like at the time where we're just like, come on, man, we've been like on the road for like 9-10 days. I'm tired. What's going on? Like, why don't you want to talk about it? It was a hot mess. But other than that, I had an amazing time making all these like memories, meeting all these librarians, meeting all these like bartenders and all these other bands and all their friends and family, from house shows to basement shows to shows in like weird abandoned apartment situations. I don't know what was going on in the Shire, but that was really exciting. And that's where I got my first tattoo. It was great. It was just a hot mess. It was a hot mess, and I wouldn't have traded it for anything in the world.
Before we started recording, you mentioned you performed at Wrockstock as well.
Yeah, that was so much fun. I want to say I went to the second Wrockstock. It was my first experience of Wizard Rock that wasn't that one Harry and the Potters, Math the Band, Uncle Monsterface show that I had went to. And so me and my partner at the time loaded up the car. We drove up to Rockstock, and there was like an amateur stage. And I was like, oh, I'm going to like sign up for that. I had a really good time performing in it. And it was just so exciting to see all these bands performing and the community. It was just really, really exciting, from all the like crafts that they were doing and the workshops that were going on and like the connections that I made. It was just summer camp in the best way possible. And it was like this really exciting, all ages, really except for after lights out. Then it got a little rowdy. I'll put the kids to bed and we're going to go down to the lake and be loud and obnoxious young adults, you know? And so, so a lot of the folks that came there with their families were definitely tucked away, but those of us in like our early to mid 20s, it was just this like Bonnaroo type weekend type of thing where we were just like, ah! It was really, really great. And leaving there, I was just so distressed and sad. And I was like, wow, I want to come back again next year, but I want to perform. next year, like not on the side stage, like I want to perform. And so Rockstock came around again and I didn't get a chance to perform. That's okay. I still performed in like the little, I think it was called like the Whomping Willow, which is like the amateur like side stage. And it was really, really exciting. And then like the next, and I think maybe possibly the final Rockstock, or I actually got to perform on the main stage. I was super excited. Everything about that set was just amazing. Like hearing people singing along with me, everyone was clapping and dancing. It was super exciting to play with a full band and not just me and my guitar. I was like, wow, I have like a drummer. You know, I was like really excited. That one, a lot of the like instrumental weight had been like lifted off of my shoulders. And I could just be like, okay, this is your drum part. This is your like keys part. Here's your backup part. Like, you know, make it work, you know, like make it work instead of me sitting in front of like an aged iMac trying to make GarageBand work with like tutorials up on my phone while I'm like clicking away at stuff. It was super exciting. It happened at a really bad time in my life. And so it was a really exciting victory for me. A lot of things in my life were not going well. I was drifting in and out of like homelessness. My mental health was like not doing well, having some difficulties with just trying to like stay stable. I had gotten out of this really abusive relationship that kind of like left me with not a lot. And so I was just trying to just kind of recover, and like this opportunity came and I was like, oh, I'm in like the middle of recovery. And so I just took as much of my assets as I could, liquidated what I could, and I was like, this is my chance to like fulfill this one little dream that I have, my tiny little Harry Potter dream. And so I went and I performed Rockstock. It was amazing. I cried. It was great. When I came back from that episode at the last Rockstock, I was like really, really excited and like super jazzed about just everything Wizard Rock related. But like I said, like I was just going through such a really rough time financially. My housing was very unstable. My like financial situation was very unstable. And so I had to just kind of like dive into like the adult world of like I've got to get a full-time job. And so like whereas like a lot of my peers were like, "Oh, I just graduated college and now like I've been doing my Harry Potter thing for a while. I'm going to like take some time off after college, do some like Harry Potter type of stuff and then like see where that goes, and if all else fails, I'll become an accountant or like whatever they got their degree in." I never got like an opportunity like to go to like college or anything along those lines, so it was just straight workforce for me. So I would get invited like, "Oh, do you want to come perform here? Can you come here?" And I was like, I just can't take the time off. Like I can't go. And so it really, really hurt my feelings. I had to sell like my instruments and my recording equipment just so that I could like pay bills and things along those lines. And so it was like, this guitar isn't even mine. Like it's my roommate's guitar. This microphone is like all I use for like streaming and things like that. But I had to sell all of my guitars, my recording equipment. Pretty much like all of the everything that I had from that time is gone. The computer that I used to like record all of the music, like what is on Bandcamp is what exists. That computer just bought the farm one day and everything was gone. And I was like, I can't replace this. You know, I'm barely squeaking by. It's just one of those like bittersweet, not ends, but definitely like a bittersweet, like conclusion to this really exciting, really thrilling part of like my young adulthood that was just filled with so much happiness and joy that being forcefully pulled away from it was just very hurtful, and it was very isolating and very lonely. And as someone who just like grew up, I struggled with like making friends and finding connections with people, and then to find a whole group of people who had a very similar interest in Harry Potter that I did. Like it's a special interest like I can't get out of my brain, you know. It was just very exciting that I could go up to pretty much anyone and I could just start talking about Harry Potter, and that's perfectly fine and acceptable, and no one was going to think that was weird or like, why are you talking about this thing? Isn't that for kids? And I'm like, well, it's for, so it was very hard to feel like I couldn't participate in the community like I wanted to. So I still listen to like all my favorite bands and like support my friends in their musical careers, whether it's staying with Harry Potter, venturing out and doing some like muggle music or what have you, or just like lending their musical talents to other fandoms or other causes and things along those lines. It was just all just very, very exciting, but it was always kind of like on the outside looking in where I'm just like, dang, like I wanna come to the thing, but it's always something that would just like get into the way where it's like, oh, I don't have a guitar, I can't come perform. Or I don't have the means to like fly to Boston. I would love to play, but I can't. I'm like, I've got to pay rent, I get to take off for a week. And so, yeah, it's been kind of bittersweet, but it's still something that brings me intense amounts of joy. Like, I love Harry Potter. It's great. Wizard Rock is amazing in every way.
It's time for a music break. Here's Draco and the Malfoys with NHNA.
Hey, drummer. Nice drums. I like your drums. Are those your drums? How about you play some more drums? I am looking for a butler. Would you like to be my new butler? Well, here's a flyer. If you wanted to apply to be my butler, just read the words written on the bottom. Read them twice in case you forgot 'em. If you're a badger, well, that doesn't fly. 'Cause no Hufflepuffs need apply. No Hufflepuffs need apply. If you're a Hufflepuff, then you need not apply. Ravenclaws are okay. Gryffindor's not as much, but still okay. If you're lucky to be Slytherin, I'll tell you now, you're probably in. If you're from Helga's house, bye-bye. No Hufflepuffs need apply. No Hufflepuffs need apply. If you're a Hufflepuff, then you need not apply. Hey, Hufflepuff, get lost. why don't you make like a tree and punch Harry Potter in the face? Sweet Hufflepuff, she took the rest. I only take the best to be my butler. Just read the words written on the bottom. Read them twice in case you forgot them. If you're a badger, well that doesn't fly. There's no Hufflepuffs. No Hufflepuffs. If you're lucky to be Slytherin, I'll tell you now, you're probably in. If you're from Helga's house, well, bye-bye. There's no Hufflepuffs. No Hufflepuffs. No Hufflepuffs need a fly.
Let me start by saying bravery, it comes from the heart. It lives in every soul, it doesn't matter whose. But being brave's decided to choose to do what's right when you know someone will fight every blow you ever might try to throw. But there's a light that you'll show no matter what you see, even if it shows you sudden death staring you in the eyes, telling you you'll never help nothing before you die. A truly wicked dark voice that's cynical, that literally cripples you, that takes your nightmares out of your skull and fucking triples them. There's a whole damn lot of world who's gonna do that, but don't lay down, look inside and fight through that. This is what Gryffindor is all about. Never stopping even when you wanna grab your head and shout, when you wanna punch a wall and pull all your hair out, when the only thing you think or feel anymore is doubt. You find the courage inside to get back on your broom and ride, even if every other person on earth is trying to hide. You won't stop feeling fear, that's not what I'm trying to say, but bravery is feeling fear and going in anyway.
We're brave.
We don't back down.
We're brave.
We don't turn away.
We're brave.
We will stand up.
We're brave.
Get into gear, get out of the way.
We're brave.
We can take our hits.
We're brave.
We can take your lip.
We're brave.
Can't break us, we stand tall. You'll
We're
have to kill us
brave.
to make us fall. Now in life you meet good guys and bad guys, and it's not always as simple as the look in their eyes. Everyone's been wrong or stupid sometime in our lives, and maybe it's worth making the effort to realize that we're all a little more like different colors of gray. And believe it or not, it takes more courage to say that you believe in everyone, under every mood and sun, to bring everyone back to base regardless of what they've done, to try to save them, to praise them, to see what could be amazing, and to defend them all from whatever might be trying to phase them. You see, giving up on every group of women and men always causes someone to jump to saving their own skin, and those are cowards. They don't live for a fucking thing. And if you really want to be brave, don't you ever give up on a dream. Walk for it, run for it, operate or fly for it, fight for it, cry for it, tell them that you'll die for it. Remember, you can tackle anything under the sky for it, and don't forget your best friends, whoever will apply for it. Put your heart out on the line together or by yourself, cause there's real bravery in trusting someone else.
We're brave.
We don't back down.
We're brave.
We don't turn away.
We're brave.
We will stand up.
We're brave.
Get into gear, get out of the way.
We're brave.
We can take our hits.
We're brave.
We can take your lip.
We're brave.
Can't break us, we stand tall. You'll
We're
have to kill us
brave.
to make us fall. And we will, sooner or later someone's gonna knock us down. When your head smacks the floor, there is a sickening sound of all the things you stand for being broken and bound, of the ringing in your brain that continues to grow loud, that tells you that what you did is all for nothing and you're a clown, that nothing's won, nothing can be done, nothing is found, and the smartest thing that you can do is just give up now. You'll taste dirt and see your foes from down on the ground. From there they're gonna look 10 feet tall and bulletproof, but you know that even if that turned out to be the truth, you'll come back. Your fight can't end if you're not broken. You won't be outgunned, your message will be spoken. You'll see the wrongs, you know that you'll do anything to stop them, cause pain's not your fault, but they just made it your problem, so you can't let them run you over now. It's time to clock them. Take another swing, you are the living rock'em sock'em, with a popped head who still keeps throwing punches to drop them, and you still have power inside of your heart, and that feels awesome. Believe in what's inside, fear is the wrong track. If you still have heart and mind, you can always push back.
We're brave.
We don't back down.
We're brave.
We don't turn away.
We're brave.
We will We're brave. We can take our hits. We're brave. We can take your lip. We're brave. Can't break us, we stand tall. You'll have to kill us to make us fall.
That was NHNA by Draco and the Malfoys, MC Griff and We're Brave, and To My Death Eaters by Muggle Death Camp. NHNA goes out to Anne from Jeff, who adds, "You are the very model of a modern Major General. Snakes rule." Now, back to the interview. You are also a visual artist.
I am.
I heard this really came through in your merch, like when you were drawing album covers on the fly.
Yeah, absolutely. So all of my album covers have been drawn by me, except for Pretending for Real. That's actually a picture of Bootsy Collins, which I was like, that's just an awesome photograph of this just guy in a wizard outfit with this star guitars. Really dynamic, but it was like a little stand-in photo where I was just like, I just want to like put these songs up before any more of my equipment dissolves. But yeah, I really enjoy doing the visual aspect of it because the HP community, especially in the earlier days, was just so DIY. Everyone was making their own CDs at home, like burning them on their computers and like packaging them up in like little like jewel cases they got from Best Buy, like nothing was like mass produced. I really wish I still had some Tour de Friends merch, which was really great because the trio was like on the back of a centaur that was like flying through the air. It was amazing. I don't even have photographs of that. And so like I enjoyed making and screen printing my own shirts and like making my own album covers. At one point in time, it was a separate tour that I was on with Grace and Matt. I think Lauren was there, but I don't think Lauren was there at the same time. Like it was a blur, and we were like in two different vehicles, and I was like at like the merch like hand drawing album covers. So some people in this world, they may have lost it by now, but have hand drawn album covers that I was making at the show. Like as people were like, "Oh, I would like one," and I'd be like, and this is for you." And so like, here you go. I could not afford printing, so you get a drawing from me. It was always super fun in that capacity. And so just being a part of the fandom just kind of allowed me to kind of explore these different ways of creating things, like from creating like my Bandcamp page and like figuring out how I want that to look. Or my MySpace page before all of that got wiped away is gone forever now. All sorts of stuff. And it was always just very exciting to see the new and fun and different ways. Like I had patches, like handmade patches. I've had buttons, hand drawn album art. I've had like hand screen printed like shirts and things along those lines. Making my own posters and things along those like just going to Kinko's and be like, "Can you print me like 50 of these?" And they're like, "What is this?" I'm like, "Don't ask questions, man. Just don't ask why there's like children flying on this like centaur man, or like why I'm asking you to like make these like weird like deer head boys. Just print them." And so it was a very exciting time to kind of like create merch and things along those lines. But yes, I really do enjoy the visual aspect of like creating extra fun little things that you can just take home and enjoy outside of the music.
All right, magical friends, if you have any Tour de Friends or Quickspell merch, we want to see it. Share pictures. Let us know, because that sounds incredible.
Yeah, if any of it still exists, I definitely would love to see it. I wish I still had some of them. I think that the very first one I made was like a black shirt that just said "Friends and I are friends." And it was just like, and it was just a black shirt that said that. And so I was like, that one was super fun. I was definitely like screen printing those up until the point where I was like putting my luggage in the car to like go on the road. And I was like, we gotta leave these on the top because they're drying. So it's like, we just gotta get them in the car.
So you have a little bit of experience being a creative and being a creative in public.
Yeah.
What kind of advice would you have for new Wizard Rockers?
Don't be afraid to break that kayfabe sometimes. So I mentioned it a little bit before about not feeling like you've been pigeonholed into creating certain types of musical content because you named your band, after a character or after a place or something along those lines. You can still be whatever your band is named and create things that are not necessarily from the point of view from that character, more from people observing that character. If you want to write love songs, write love songs. If you want to write songs that are about social commentary, write songs about social commentary. If you want to write some, Ministry of Magic-esque, like poppy, like dance club themes, make those. Don't feel like you have to construct or build your band around a certain idea just because that was the blueprint for how it was 15 years ago. It's a brand new day, it's a new dawn. And on that same coin there, not feeling any fear in letting your best be what it is. And by that I mean, like, for someone like myself, like, I don't have a lot of resources. So it's like I don't have soundproof recording studio or like a really fancy condenser mic or the latest model of something that I can plug into the computer and it'll just suck up all that audio for me. Sometimes all you have is like your phone and your like headbuds with a microphone. And sometimes that's what you have and that's your best, and it is just as worthy of being showcased and listened to and celebrated as someone who was able to put forth resources that you didn't have access to into their craft. I don't see the Wizard Rock community as a place where those kind of DIY, hands-on types of individuals are disallowed from showing their art and sharing their art with others and getting feedback from others. Yeah, some bands might sound better vocally, or some people might have like better guitar chops, or like someone's piano riffs are way better than yours. Like, that's always going to be the case. Like, it's always going to be the case. But at the same time, there's always going to be someone who turns your music on and is like, I'm going to do this one day. I can't wait for this. Like, oh my gosh, the way that you sang that note, just, it resonates with me. So no matter how crackly or croaky your voice might sound, no matter how sloppy your guitar might be because you're learning, or whatever fun instrument you might be a flautist, and you're like, I'm gonna put together a little arrangement here and on my flute. Like, don't feel like, oh, I don't know guitar, therefore I can't do Wizard Rock, or oh no, I can't sing, therefore I can't do Wizard Rock. There has been so many bands across just the inception of this, that there is a place for you if you want to make instrumentals, if you want to do spoken word, if you want to rap, if you want to do R&B, if you want to do grunge rock, if you want to do punk, if you want to do some like ukulele singer songwriter indie ooh woo stuff, you can do it all. Like, there's a place for your music there in this space. Just don't let yourself be too discouraged by these bands who have been around for a decade plus, that have lots of followings and lots of listens on Spotify, or like little checks next to their Twitter accounts and things along those lines. Your music is still valid. Your music is still good. People still want to like celebrate you and hear your things. So dust off the guitar, pull out those hammers for your dulcimer, like, let's go. Like, just make it work in the best way that you can, because that's just the spirit of this community. And I feel like that can sometimes get lost in the shiny newness of the ways in which social media works now, where everything has to be super polished and super professional, like influencer level types of content. You working in Medibang trying to like make your album cover with like some free software that you downloaded is just as good as someone who's paying like $60 a month to use Photoshop. It's perfectly fine if that's what you have. So that's my advice. Just do it. Just do it. Get in where you fit in. It's good. It's fun.
And since you mentioned you've made all kinds of merch,
Mm-hmm.
any suggestions there?
Oh, absolutely. Okay, so a part of my young adult life, and still in my not so young adult life, I really love the DIY community. So in a lot of like punk shows, basement shows, things along those lines, people were using what they had access to. So if you've got some ratty jeans that you haven't worn since 8th grade, cut them up, get some fabric markers, write your band name on it. You got some like cool patches. Go get some fun rocks from your garden and paint them with your band logo or like your band name. Put some googly eyes on there and a wizard hat. Now you've got wizard rocks. Like you got you got it all. You don't have to feel like you have to run a Kickstarter so you can get shiny enamel pins or dip into your tuition fund so that you can like front the screen printing for your t-shirts or something along those lines. Don't put yourself in a position to where you're making this huge sacrifice for your like physical, emotional, financial, spiritual well-being just so that you can have like shiny fancy merch. Put that energy into your lyricism. Put that energy into learning a new guitar riff. Put that energy into practicing your scales. Put that energy somewhere else. But hit up Goodwill, grab some plain t-shirts. That can absolutely work. You can take felt squares and cut out fun little like shapes and things along those lines. If you are someone who can sew, you can sew them onto said shirts. If you can't sew, there's a wonderful thing called liquid stitch, and you can just have a little disclaimer with your shirts that are like, please flip this inside out, wash it on delicate. These are like handmade special shirts. Like, don't F it up, you know? Like, you've spent money on this, I spent time on this. And I feel like those sorts of merch at a table stand out a lot more and are a lot more exciting and feel more exclusive than when you're walking up to a merch table and you have these like shiny, like plasticine looking posters and these download cards that are all branded and like all of these things. And you're just like, well, none of this is really unique. I love this band, so I guess I'll just buy it. But like when you come up to a merch table and we've got homemade patches and you've taken what me and my friends used to do, we would, whenever we were like kicking back or whatever, you have like a soda or a beer or something along those lines, save those bottle caps, add some like fun paint to them and like put like some stickers and things along those lines, shellac them with some clear nail polish and put a magnet on the back. And now you've got cool little fridge magnets that you can sell for a couple of bucks. And all it cost you was getting some Izzy's at the grocery store when you went and just saving up those bottle caps, going in and taking a mundane something like go to the dollar store and be like, look at these wacky shoelaces. I'm going to get 7 pairs of these dollar store shoelaces and I'm going to take them home and I'm going to make my own like flair to them. Like I'm going to like take some pom-poms and glue them on, like something to kind of like zhuzh it up and like make it more exciting. Like, oh wow, I'm going to get one gray lace and one green lace and these are going to be like my Slytherin like ones and I'm going to like sell these out. You don't have to go and spend a whole bunch of money. Just taking the things that you have and thinking about them creatively in the ways in which you can turn these things that you may have laying around your home or have easy access to at like a dollar store or a local craft store or in your storage closet in the upstairs part of your grandma's house that you haven't looked in since you were 16. Those sorts of things all matter and can be like really, really exciting to receive instead of like a very polished, very shiny, professionally screen printed something. But if you are specifically into screen printing, I would research on the YouTubes beginner friendly ways to screen print. When I'm teaching screen printing to local folks, I will use things that people have access to. So that's a big part of like my arts education practice is like making sure people who want to be creative have access to tools to be creative. If you do want to try something on your own with like screen printing, you'll probably need like some capital up front to like do some investing on it. But with some sheer hosiery like pantyhose, some Elmer's glue or Mod Podge, and some time, some patience, you can make a embroidery hoop. Like string the hose through there, making sure it's like nice and tight as if you were going to do some cross stitching on it or some needlepoint. You will take your design and print it out on a piece of copy paper or what have you. Place your embroidery hoop on it, and wherever your design does not exist, so if you have something that says Kwikspell in like black letters or what have you, I'm going to paint everything with the Mod Podge except for those black letters. And I'm going to let it dry, and I'm going to make sure I'm hold it up to the light to make sure there are no holes that are coming through. There's no light. Once it's nice and dry, you can use pretty much any fabric paint you want. You don't have to go and buy screen printing ink or anything along those lines. Get yourself a fancy little sponge brushes, those awful sponge brushes. Put them on the shirt and then just dab that paint on. Pull off your screen, put that shirt to dry, put your other shirt on it, dab that paint on again. It's going to look very DIY. It's going to look very homemade, but that's just going to depend on how much time and effort you put into making that screen. So if you want something that looks really polished and things along those lines, put some time and effort into that. But you don't have to go and have like $600 or $700 up front with your art separated into all these different layers, and you have to send it off to the printer and they have to approve it, and then they have to pay in $30 per screen. No. Save $30 from your paycheck. Go get yourself some embroidery hoops and some hose and a couple of shirts from the Goodwill to like do some practice, or some old shirts that you might have laying around. Grab some friends of different sizes and be like, can everyone donate me 2 blank shirts? I would greatly appreciate it.
What are you working on now these days?
Ooh, what am I not working on? A lot of my focus recently has been into my arts career, art type of things. Currently, I am scripting out, and I'm not even scripting because, like I got ADHD. I'm never going to write a script. But I am working through the story beats and things along those lines, like getting a story planned out for a fiction comic, finally, that I'm working on, that is going to be a kind of coming of age tale of 3 young adventurers branching out on their own in their like kind of like late teens. We got kind of like a YA, like situation going there, but it's just going to be a kind of like focus on like the adolescent growth that happens in that like 14 to 19 range of life, and just growing up, following your dreams, defying your parents, and just kind of living your life. But also, we're going to be looting dungeons, and we are going to be, slaying some dragons, maybe in a very pacifistic way, because I very much love dragons. We will compromise with the dragons so that they can stop doing harm to the area. So working on that. Got my art in a couple of museums. Got some published stuff out, mostly in like anthologies and things along those lines. But a lot of my comics deal with themes of gender euphoria, gender inquisition, like kind of like navigating the world at these various different intersections of like marginalization, whether it's like the intersection of blackness and transness, or like living as like an ace person in like a very hypersexual world within a hypersexualized community. And so just kind of like exploring these different thoughts and feelings and things along those lines that I have floating around in my brain meat, and getting those out and about. Musically, I haven't had access to musical instruments, but I have some song type things like written on my phone. But since I can't play them, it's hard for me to be like, I'm going to put music to this. And like I was saying, they kind of come at the same time. And so when I have one or the other, it's kind of hard to like make them fit. Where I'm like, no, I don't know enough music theory to make this work.
Don't worry, the interview will continue after this music break. This is Tom Marvolo Riddle by Sam and Sam.
Come find the hidden chamber, there's serpents in the chamber, that chamber full of secrets. The hidden chamber, you'll find the hidden chamber, the chamber of success. Go find that hidden chamber, you'll die in the hidden chamber, your body will never be found. It's dank in the hidden chamber, it's it's dark in the hidden chamber. It's cold as your face hits the ground.
Tom of a low riddle, 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 Tom of a low riddle.
Read the pages in my diary, it's deeper than your eyes see. These pages are riddled with read the pages in my diary. Won't be long before you find me. I'll soon have you firm in my read the pages in my diary. Now you think you really know me. Yes, all your friends have been petrified. Now you're really terrified. Your life is coming to an end.
Tom of a low riddle, 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 Tom of a low riddle. I am Lord Voldemort. Tom of a low riddle, Tom of a low riddle. I am Lord Voldemort. Tom of a low riddle, Tom of a low riddle. I am Lord Voldemort. Tom of a low riddle, Tom of a low riddle. I am Lord Voldemort. Tom of a low riddle, Tom of a low riddle. I am Lord Voldemort.
The glass is cold and smooth to the touch. What lies beneath it will swallow you up. The ache in your soul you didn't know you had stands still before you, it's driving you mad. What kind of demon would make such a thing? Full of dreams and desires that can never take wing. An intricate torture or misguided help, you'll end up wasting away and losing yourself. And you'll live in this mirror as if you were on the other side. Kisses that fall on cold dead lips, things lost through bitter pride. You can't live this way, but you know that you will stay. If you can't tear yourself away,
That was Tom Marvolo Riddle by Sam and Sam, Through the Looking Glass by Malfoy Manor, and Amortentia by Let's Lumos, featuring Oliver Boyd and the Remembralls. Here's the last bit of the interview with Kosmo of Kwikspell. Thank you so much for chatting with me today. This has been awesome.
Of course.
Where can WZRD radio listeners find you and all of your projects online?
Oh, absolutely. I'm online. I'm on all the things that you get online to do because that's just the way the world works. But you can find me on pretty much any social media platform at _ space bones with an S. Space bones, like there's multiple bones in space. You can do a Google search for Cosmo Parker. I think I'm the only one in the world or something. I don't know. I think that my Bandcamp is kwikspell.bandcamp.com, but I'm mostly on Twitter now, so _ spacebones. You can hit me up there. I'm not very good at DMs, but if you at me, I will definitely respond. Yeah, give a follow, say hi. I would love to reconnect with people that I've lost touch with over the years. Yeah, if you want to be my friend, be my friend. I love talking to people. I love reminiscing. I love helping people out, whether it's, musically or artistically or just getting some advice or feedback. Those were things that I always really appreciated when I was more actively making music and creating content around Wizard Rock. It was always really nice to have some feedback and get some support and encouragement, especially when it's just it feels like I'm screaming into the void and you're just don't feel that. I mean, yeah, I can't tell you how to feel, but you don't need to feel that way. You're not alone out there grinding in your apartment trying to make your merch and make your music and stuff like that.
If you enjoyed this interview and want to keep them coming, consider joining the WZRD Radio Patreon at patreon.com/WZRD Radiopod. It's $2 Muggle a month, and not only does it support WZRD, but it also supports the ESL Witches Grant in giving microgrants to queer and BIPOC Wizard Rockers. The holidays are coming up. You know what makes a great gift? Wizard Rock. Go to the transcript at WZRDradiopod.com and pick a song to send to your mom. Without our Wizard Rockers, we wouldn't be here. Now, no one's guessed episode 38's theme, so that Cruciatus download code is still up for grabs. You can tell me your guesses on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, or leave a comment on the transcript, or email me at wzrdradiopod@gmail.com. And now, here's Kwikspell.
The song is called Where I Belong, and it's a song about found family and connecting to a community greater than yourself in the light of overcoming and moving through tremendous adversity. I spent 10 years in solitude. 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 No one came to my rescue. No one came to my aid. No one wanted my friendship. No one shared in my pain. And then one day I got a letter in the mail. It was addressed specifically to me. But my uncle wouldn't let me read it. And my cousin, he laughed in my face. And no one came to my rescue. No one came to my aid. No one wanted wanted my aid. No one wanted my friendship. No one shared in my pain. But then a moment later, a knock fell up on the door. Moment later, the door fell through. Moment later, I found out I'm a wizard. Moment later, I knew the truth. And now it's September, and I'm on a train, and I'm getting sorted. I'm living up to my name, 'cause I found where I belong. Oh, I found where I belong. And let it be written, let it be sung. Let me scream from a mountain with air in my lungs. Let the past be forgotten, the future outlasts all the heartache and bad times and poor luck. And then when they think that it's over, we'll start up again as the magic surrounds me and my heart wars down.